Today we're going to be changing the oil and oil filter on a 2003 Toyota Corolla. Your car should look like this. 2003 Toyota Corolla runs the VVT-i 16 valve engine. Yours should look like this. The oil intake for changing will go into here. If you want to check what your oil level is, it is done through here. You give this a wipe and then you've got two markers here. As you can see, my oil is on minimum, so this is overdue and ready to go. Underneath the engine you'll find the bolt to drain the oil out, and we'll get to that shortly. Right, so I've picked up 6 litres of the Penrite 10W40 full synthetic. If you are changing the filter, which I am today, it's going to take 4.2 litres. So pick up a 6 litre tub, or maybe 5 if you can get it. I couldn't. The filter that we are going to put in is the Z386 to replace the old one. Now, these ones come with, and I'll get it into the light so that we can see the level, a gauge here on the side so that you can actually see. So 6 litres is at the very top, and you'll see here that it's now down to just under 2 litres. And that's because the oil is already in the car. I've reshot this video because I was told that the Corolla takes 3.7 litres. Now that's true if you're not doing the filter, but we are doing the filter today, and I did do it. So therefore it took 4.2 litres, and I had to reshoot this video to give you the correct quantity. 3.7 without the filter, 4.2 with the filter, which means that you'll take it down obviously to just under the 2 litre mark, because 6 litres consumption would obviously be empty down the bottom here. Alright, I've inserted the jack under a structural part of the front end of the car, just near the wishbone section there, and make sure that you use a cast stand. And then I've just put a few little markers there so I don't do anything dopey like trip over it. The sump bolt is what we need to take care of, and that is just behind the sump. You shouldn't, I don't think you need to remove any panniers. You might, but see how you go. And I've got a catch tray ready to go, and this is a 14mm, and to undo it you are going to push that way, just because you're on the other side of the bolt. Remember, you don't want to be tightening it up, you want to be undoing it. Make sure that the oil has cooled down enough if you've driven the car before you go to do this, otherwise you're going to burn yourself. I try to time this with a ring spanner so that it comes out at just the right time, because the bolt has a collar, so that way I don't lose the bolt down into the dirty oil. So fortunately I had my tray lined up because I had both hands occupied, and if it hadn't I would have had to drop the camera. But that's emptying well now, and then this guy here can just go off to one side. Make sure you got a drop sheet just in case you do spill some oil. I didn't have to handle this oil, I never came in contact with it, but it is always wise to make sure that it's cool-ish. I don't go anywhere near opening these containers and getting things ready until the sump bolt is back in, okay? Because you do not want to pour oil into the top of the engine only to have it flow out the bottom. The next job is taking the oil filter off. You need an oil filter remover. Basically what you do is you put this around the oil filter, and then you turn it so that this actually tightens up on it. Okay, so you can get that from Super Cheap or Repco or something. They don't cost very much. That goes around it. Make sure that you're undoing it, and then remove it, and then do the rest untightening by hand. I untighten it just enough to let oil start trickling out, and then I let it empty of the overflow of oil. It's still got oil in it, be aware of that. But I just undo it, and as soon as oil starts coming out I let it run its course into the bucket catch tray, and now I'm going to come back and I'm going to undo that with a small rag. That's a rag that doesn't end up in my bucket. Okay, keeping it upright, remembering there's oil in here. All right, so you can just tip it in there to save yourself the risk of spilling it everywhere. See that black seal? Okay, you want to check that that's there. You don't want to leave it behind on the engine mount, because when you put the new one in, you're going to have two seals. It's not designed for two seals. Two seals means you're going to have a leak. Alright, so there's the old one, and you can see that the seal is there. That's good news. Here's the new one with the seal. Now this new one has protective plastic to stop crap from getting in there. Obviously you need to remove that plastic. That plastic does not, you don't punch it through there and leave the plastic on. You take this plastic off. Then what we're going to do is get new oil, and we're going to run new oil around this seal before we put it onto the car. The reason for that is it makes it nice and lubricated, and it prevents that seal from scrunching up as you do it up. Okay, I'm going to get up there with a clean rag, okay, and I'm going to wipe all of that away and give it a bit of a clean up before I put the new one on. Clean rag. You don't want to leave things behind that are going to interfere with your seal. I can't show you that I'm doing this because I don't have 3 hands. Okay, with the sump plug in and the new oil filter installed, it's time to fill up the engine with oil. You must not start the car at this time. It's also time to remove the old oil tray. If you forget about that and let the jack down, it'll crunch it and then oil will go all over your concrete. Usually the type of stuff that I do. Okay, big tip. This thing's a disaster. There was a rubber bung for an air hole there. It was supposed to be a valve. It's more trouble than what it's worth, and I'll tell you why. Because it fell out and it's now fallen in there. That means if I were to use this, there's no filter on this. Okay, so that rubber bung is now going to end up in the top of my engine amongst all the valves and stuff. I cannot pour this into the car now without getting that sorted. I'm going to have to now use a normal funnel as I normally would, and I'm going to have to make sure and make up a grate with some fly screen or something that'll catch that rubber bung if it comes out. Bloody hopeless. So here it is. I don't know if you can see it. There's the black bung that I managed to get out. That could have ended up in the top of the engine. I don't know why an oil company would do that. Make a part where as soon as I started tipping it came out, and I managed to stop pouring in time for it to go in. Unbelievable. It's happy. Now I don't have 3 hands, so we'll see how we go here. So let's bring that up nice and clean. So what we want to do is just give this a little bit of a clean up. Okay, that's clean. Let's put it back in, and then let's bring it. Actually, put it the way that it wants to go. Bring it up. Okay, and I should have oil all the way up to that second one, which it's hard for you guys to see, but it is. And the reason it's hard to see is because it's nice clear oil. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Car is good to go. I'll do some more checks after I stop videoing before I start it up, but otherwise it should all be good. Now all you have to do is let the car down, take the jack out, and you should be good to go. Check underneath when the car's running, and just check periodically in a couple of days time to make sure you haven't got any leaks coming from your oil filter or from your sump bolt. That was the oil and oil filter change for a 2003 Toyota Corolla VVTi 16 valve engine. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching.